The Patterson Foundation
strengthens people, organizations, and communities by focusing on issues that address mutual aspirations, foster wide participation, and encourage learning and sharing.
Welcome to Beyond the Blog, a podcast of the Patterson Foundation. My name is Ericia Henry. I'm a fellow here at TPF and your host for today's podcast. Today, we will be discussing the Patterson Foundation and Lilly Family School Philanthropy's partnership for our Nonprofit Internship Initiative. I have Dr. Don Bowman here with me, who is the lead consultant for our Advancing Philanthropic Leadership Initiative. Don, welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Thank you very much. It's truly an honor. I appreciate it.
Before I ask any questions, let's start by sharing a bit of history with our listeners. So, Don, can you share with us an overview of the nonprofit program? For example, why did the Patterson Foundation begin offering paid internships with local nonprofits to the Lilly School of Philanthropy for students?
It's a very interesting question. I think that might be one that we need to take a couple steps backward before I can really delve into that particular question. First and foremost, the Patterson Foundation is where we first got to look at the foundation of everything that we're doing with this particular program. TPF, to do that, has what I would say the opportunity to be a catalyst. And by doing that, there are probably, I would say, 5 different key focus, or if I would say direction, that we try to help strengthen the organizations. The first one, of course, is you got to collaborate. You need to connect, if you will. The second one that's most important, you'll hear me refer to it many times, is you need to be able to learn, have the willingness to learn. Third is to share. The fourth one, if you've got those 3 and you're moving forward, then you can evolve with those shared aspirations. And eventually, you can be able to strengthen those shared aspirations into some action plans. So that then leads us to the fact that with tomorrow's leaders in the philanthropy field, if all of us in the world of philanthropic studies really are interested in pursuing a vibrant, inclusive world, then we really need to be looking at how we can provide that opportunity to be a catalyst for these new leaders who want to become a part of the world as change agents. Because TPF provides that catalyst for people, organizations, and the community, it wanted to reach out to see how we might be able to be an active participant in bringing some of those new leaders along. The first and only place that we looked was to the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. Why? It is the first institution, and it's a school under Indiana University, that teaches solely about training and moving forward in philanthropic studies at the baccalaureate level, at the master's level, and today even more in the way of I would call certificates for other professionals that want to be involved in this world. So suddenly, back in 2018, we found an opportunity between our 2 organizations, the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy and Patterson, to come together and to develop the Advancing Philanthropic Leadership Program here.
Yes, thank you so much, Don. Experience or the opportunity to participate in the internship program, and I really believe that it is part of the reason why I'm here today. And so I know that it's making the same impact with those organizations and the students at the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy. So with that, can you please share your personal involvement with the Nonprofit Internship Program and how you've seen it evolve over time?
Okay. Well, it's rather ironic. All the years that I spent in higher education, both in the State University of New York system, research universities, community colleges, and then in the State Florida College system, predominantly in the community college, a couple of different community colleges in Florida, there was always a disconnect between the Career Planning and Placement Office and internships in the community, whether it be in organizations of business focus or a nonprofit focus or even multimedia. There just didn't ever seem to be the opportunity to really make those jump for people to leap forward, if you will, and take on the opportunity. When I had the opportunity to come to the Patterson Foundation, there were a couple of things that we talked about in developing the internship program. It was already getting started, but we had to first explore why did students, when I was in the career placement arena world, those offices reporting to me, why it didn't work? Well, first and foremost, students wanted to be paid. They needed to be paid.
Right.
All right. And the second was you needed some flexibility. After all, you were going to school, and you probably had another job. So you needed some flexibility. Organizations, on the other hand, some just didn't have the fiscal or resource opportunities to move forward in having an intern. Some others, quite honestly, just didn't feel as though an intern was what they needed or wanted. They wanted somebody from 9 to 5, or they wanted somebody who's going to be like their part-time worker. Others just weren't interested at all. It was not in their culture to even think about an intern. When I came to the Patterson Foundation, they had the answer. And the answer was this: students come first in trying to put the program together. Students through the TPF program are paid a stipend. Okay? And there's flexibility because it goes by semester, fall, spring, and semester. And students are paid a stipend, which today at this point in time is $20 an hour. Let's look at the organizations. Whatever organization it was, TPF provides a compensation to cover the expenses of that particular intern for 150 hours during a term. And any other ancillary expenses the organization might have, taxes, things of that nature. In addition to that, the organizations have an opportunity to become acquainted with some of the finest students that are being empowered to move forward in their particular arena. And most importantly, the organizations get to interview the students. TPF guides by the side, as we usually say. It's really an opportunity for the school, the students, to come together. So it's just evolved now up to maybe a couple of years ago now, as you're well aware, as being the manager of this particular program, we're up to 5 or 6, maybe 7 that are really organizations that have an intern in the fall or the spring or the summer. And I fully anticipate that that will continue to grow because we are having a success, and we have some outstanding, not-for-profit organizations throughout the 4 counties that TPF serves. So it's evolving quickly, but I think it's because TPF had the right solution for both the student and the organization.
Can you provide us with some outcomes you've seen from this partnership? From your vantage point, what kind of impact has this program had on students and the nonprofit they've worked with?
I think what we should do is make sure that everyone knows that if they go through the internship program, whether it's the student or the organization, they're required as part of the agreement to produce a blog at the end of the experience. Usually it's within 30 days at the end of the semester or at the end of the internship, which has to end at some point prior to or at the end of the semester. If one goes back and looks at those blogs, it has so much information about the impact for both the student as well as the organization. I look at it as, if you look at it, the internships have provided an opportunity to build capacity within each. And when I'm speaking about capacity, because I'm sure there are many definitions for capacity for different foundations, et cetera, but I believe for TPF it gives the opportunity for the student and the organization to look inward, to invest in themselves. That's capacity building, because many times we don't have that opportunity, or we don't think that's important, but it is. You have to learn to invest in yourself, and by collaborating and moving forward, we can do that. You're going to see that in some of the blogs. The other thing that we are always trying to instill in all of our colleagues, whether they be on TPF as consultants or engagement in terms of managing other programs or our interns, is don't ever forget about the 5 C's. First and foremost, when you enter into an internship on both sides, you've got to care about the other party. And it's caring in every concept that you can think of. And then moving forward, how do you care? Well, you care by connecting. You care by collaborating. And once you really begin to move forward in that, then you can start to contribute and create. And that's what we hope to instill, not only any of us at work or have the opportunity to be involved with some of the initiatives with TPF, but we're finding, if you read the blogs, that you'll find those characteristics have been coming out in both the students, what they have written, and in the organizations. The blogs will tell you all about the outcomes. It is wonderful. And, blogs aren't that bad. It's 350 to 500 words.
Right.
And we'll help you along.
Exactly.
We
have criteria.
Hopefully, it works out okay.
Yeah. And shameless plug, we do, you can access these blogs via our website.
That's right.
Going to our internship initiative page, and you'll be able to see those blogs from students and also organization supervisors. So there we go. In your opinion, how does this program help bridge the gap between academic learning and real-world nonprofit work?
That's an excellent question. I'm trying to give some thought to that. When I first came to TPF, it's been about a year and a half now, I was presented with a glossary of terms. Now, that glossary of terms didn't mean much then, but as you become more involved, you understand that TPF has some really critical phrases, terms that have a lot of meaning. And what I have found with the internship program specifically, that there are a couple of items that have come through loud and clear. The first one is trust and change. Change only comes at the speed of trust. So that trust factor has to be there immediately from the point in time an organization interviews a student then works with the executive officer, whoever is going. But change is only going to happen at the speed of trust. Now, you may only have a semester, but you can make a lot of change over that time if you start out with building trust. And that's a two-way street. It has to work that way.
Yes.
Trust is the first one. The second one that I find, and we all have to do this perception all of the time, is we need to listen better. My grandma and my mama said to me many times, and when they meant it, I knew it because it's Donald. It's not Don. But they would always say, Donald, you have 2 eyes and you have 2 ears. This, button it until you have listened to the other person. Listening, okay? Don't arrive with the answer is the TPF motto, if you will. You don't go in knowing the answer. You go in with the perception, maybe, but listen. Use your eye. Watch the nonverbal behaviors. Don't go in with the answer. So I found that if you look at some of those blogs, and I've had the opportunity to speak with many of you who have gone through it as students, say, Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have had to listen. Another reason is, quite honestly, is because you're looking for new skill sets, but everything is done virtually. Mm-hmm. And today, virtual is very different than you and I right now having the opportunity face-to-face. Virtual, you've really got to focus on what you're looking at, what you're doing. I call that learning more about the soft skills. We used to say soft skills about showing up on time, things of that sort, okay? But in the real world, and now that it's virtual, okay, you can show up for a class in your jammies, but you better not show up when you're in the internship without being prepared, ready to focus. That's a soft skill that when we're dealing with virtual today, that a lot of individuals just have not quite gotten there. This is not TikTok. This is the opportunity to really show that you trust and show that you're trying to connect and that you're listening. So I'd say those are the three things that have really brought students into the real world. And we've tried to help them with the different initiatives and, quite honestly, some of the organizations. So I would have to say that's probably what I would say brings excellence to the internship program, those three items.
Thank you for sharing that, Don. Yeah. Can you tell our audience what you have discovered to be some of the biggest lessons or takeaways for students participating in the internship programs? I know we shared a lot about the blogs and how they share a lot of information in there, but we also do these things called knowledge sharing sessions.
That's correct.
So we typically do those at the beginning of the semester and at the end, which the end is more like a reflection. So if you can think back to some of those meetings that you've been able to sit in on and share a little bit about some of the things that you've heard, the biggest lessons and takeaways from students participating and even supervisors.
Sure. Well, I think the first is for the student, the familiarization of the multitude of not-for-profit opportunities in our four-county area, that because they are really focused in classroom. And if you're actually taking the classes, you are in Indianapolis, okay, which is where the Lilly school is located. Many of the students haven't been to the Florida arena, okay, or the Sun Coast. Many students have not been familiar or had the opportunity to become familiar with a lot of the different not-for-profits. So I have seen and spoken to us since, I didn't know that there were that kind of an opportunity here or there. I think the second thing is that the students were so amazed that when they got into the internship, they actually got to meet virtually with governing boards. And the governing boards wanted to solicit their opinions or their ideas. And they were totally in shock. Here I am, I'm a student, and I have a governing board there in the Suncoast in an area that I'm just now learning about myself that really want to listen to me and hear that. Many have never had that opportunity before and may not have that opportunity again for quite some time. So I'd say familiarity with the opportunity and the different not-for-profits, speaking with, working with actual board, whether it be a governing board or for a donor board, something of that nature. So I think those are two of the biggies. I think the other, if I may, would be another, just the whole new practical skills that you're not going to get out of theory. Theory is great, but theory doesn't really come into focus until you are actually feet on the ground and you experience it. And you can experience through the internship new skill sets and what that theory really is. It's like, I remember geometry. I did not care for geometry. I didn't understand it. I couldn't care for it at that time. But when I got into college and then further, made some sense. But just in the classroom, no. Right? For others, it may have made some sense. For me, no. It was a little further down the road. So I think that we also have found that this has been a real valuable opportunity to take the theory and put it into place. And for some, it has given students and organization a whole new perspective. One on, wow, these students have something to offer. And wow, boy, these organizations really I think I want to work in that arena. So I think that's where we have a lot of opportunity that we can continue to share and evolve.
Yes, thank you. What advice would you give to students who are thinking about applying for this internship or considering a career in the nonprofit sector?
What I'd be suggesting at this advice to the students who are thinking about is, first and foremost, look at the TPF website. Go to Advancing Philanthropic Leadership, and then go to the internship and look at that. But after that, I would go and look at the Community Foundation, the Giving Partner profiles, because every organization has to have a profile on the Giving Partner website. And that way you can learn about some of the diversity of the areas that you might want to be looking into in the future. But most importantly is to talk to each other. Speak to those who have had the opportunity. As a student, there are many opportunities to speak to other students. Organizations we're finding, that they're very much interested in having that opportunity now to really come forward and say, oh, I'd like to try this at this time. Really to step up, if you will, to do that. So I would have to say that at this time, really talk to each other. It's all about sharing and learning, and that's how you're going to really begin to move forward. I would also say that don't just speak to those who have maybe done an internship here, but speak to others who've done other internships and see what the comparisons are.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, because I think you're going to find that the ones that we have through TPF are, again, exceptional, not only because of the individuals involved, but because everyone is focused on excellence and trust, and that makes a difference.
Yes, it absolutely does. Thank you so much, Don. Well, that is a great way to end off our interview for today. So thank you so much, Don, for sharing that. And also thank you so much for being here with me today.
Sure. It's really a privilege to have you here in Sarasota and to have you as our Cohort 6 Fellow. It's an honor for us to welcome you here to the area.
And I would say likewise, this experience so far has been really good, so thank you. And if people are interested in learning more about you, what are some of your social media handles that people can follow you or reach out to you at, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I would have to say that the best way is, I'm not a big one on all of the new social media. I'm not on the TikTok, okay? I make sure that my daughter and granddaughter and even my wife keep me updated on Instagram and our local area. But I'd say the best way to always be in touch with me is, just reach out on the website. You've got email. You can, as well as a phone call. I'm from old school. And the old school believes and knows that you must be a part of the future and the social media. But the old school also has eyeball-to-eyeball relationships and the opportunity to just speak. And I don't want to lose that. As we have the opportunity to encourage individuals to become a part of the Advancing Philanthropic Leadership Program at TPF.
Yes, love that. So you heard it from him yourself. You can reach out via email, and you can find that on our TPF website, or even phone call.
That's right.
So listeners, also, if you want to learn more and stay tuned, please visit the PattersonFoundation.org, where there is more information on this initiative.